My friends, I want to start today by sharing a little story with you. When I was a young man just starting out, I had big dreams, but very little in the way of resources or achievements to show for it. I remember one day sitting in a little coffee shop looking around at all the successful business, people coming and going in their fancy suits. And I thought to myself, one day, that's going to be me. I'm going to be wealthy, confident, and in control of my own destiny. But as I looked down at my scuffed shoes and secondhand clothes, it seemed like more of a fantasy than anything realistic. How could this broke kid from a small town ever become one of those high flyers? It would have been so easy to just give up on those dreams right then and there. Thankfully, though I had the presence of mind to catch myself before slipping into doubt and despair, I made a decision in that moment that changed the entire trajectory of my life. I decided that instead of waiting to have the trappings of success before I started acting successful, I would adopt that mindset immediately. I would stride into that coffee shop every morning. Like I already owned the place, I would shake hands, make eye contact, and carry myself with the pose and confidence of a millionaire entrepreneur by simply acting as if I already possessed the qualities I admired in others. Those qualities began to materialize within me. My confidence grew, opportunities seemed to fall into my lap. And one by one, my dreams started becoming reality. All because I learned one of the most powerful principles for creating the life you want. You have to act as if you already have what it is you desire. The philosophers and spiritual teachers of ancient times were well aware of this truth. Over 2,000 years ago, Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dead with the color of its thoughts, thinks in Hindu scriptures. Advice, what you think you become," the Bible states. As a man thinketh in his heart. So modern neuroscience has also validated this principle. Thanks to neuroplasticity, the ability of our brains to alter their structure and function through thought and behavior, we literally reinvent ourselves by focusing on new beliefs and acting them out. Consistently, your mindset shapes your reality. If you approach life feeling inadequate and undeserving, a lack of confidence will undermine your efforts. You'll miss or dismiss opportunities because they don't fit your self-imposed limitations. But if you show up each day acting as if you've already achieved your vision of success, you'll be primed to spot the chances that move you closer to that vision. The funny thing is, by behaving as if we're exceptional, we become exceptional. I found that if you convince yourself by saying it enough and allowing it to become reality in your mind, it'll eventually become reality. Does this mean diluting yourself or being arrogant? Absolutely not. It means aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with the person you need to embody to create the life you want. It's developing honest self-belief and switching your mindset from hoping and wishing to deciding and committing. Let's look at a common area where this principle can be transformative: your finances. If you're constantly thinking and saying, "I can't afford that," or "I'll never get out of debt," you're putting out a signal of lack and limitation that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Creates anxiety around money, which leads to poor decisions, missed opportunities, and the cycle continues. But you would, if you started acting as if you were already financially secure and prosperous, wake up each morning and affirm, "I am wealthy," make decisions from that place of abundance rather than scarcity. When you treat money with respect and make empowered choices, you release much of the stress around it and open yourself to possibilities you'd otherwise miss. By no means am I suggesting you be irresponsible or live in denial of your circumstances. You have to deal with realities, of course. But your internal dialogue and mindset shape those realities over time. As Napoleon Hill says, "Pots or things is it that when mixed with definite of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for translation into riches or other material objects, the same applies to any goal, whether it's advancing your career, finding your soulmate, or mastering a skill act, as if you already have what you want, the right job. The perfect relationship, that level of talent or knowledge, saturates your mindset and behaviors with the feeling of already being that person. When you catch yourself doubting or thinking limiting thoughts, pause and reset your frame of mind. Ask yourself, Would the successful version of myself think and act in this situation? Then live into that role? It may feel strange and forced at first, like you're faking it or being delusional. That's just your lower self resisting change and wanting to keep you small. Persistence overpowers that lower self. The more you inhabit the mindset of your dreams, the more it becomes natural and authentic. Let's explore another quick story to illustrate this, drawn from my own life. When I first started out in sales, I had no credentials, no experience, and about as much credibility as a kid selling lemonade. But I made a decision. If I was going to achieve my ambitions, I had to act and carry myself as if I was already a massively successful entrepreneur. So when I would go into sales calls, even though I was just a rookie hustling to get by, I would walk into that office or boardroom exuding the poise, assuredness, and professionalism of a seasoned CEO. I acted as if I had decades of proven expertise and offer valuable insights with supreme self-confidence. Did it feel fake at first? You bet. But you know what? By embodying that role, it quickly became my reality. I would leave those sales meetings having booked major new clients, and I'd think, who was that person in there? It was me. I was speaking and acting as the successful man I aimed to become, and people responded to that energy. Self-fulfilling, my career took off, and within a few years, I was enjoying the success I had only been able to visualize at first, all because I refused to define myself by my current limitations and instead lived into my biggest dreams and aspirations each day. The beauty of this principle is that you can apply it to any area of your life where you're feeling stuck, struggling, you're falling short of your goals, want it to be healthier and more energetic. Start acting as if you already have that vibrant physicality and make decisions accordingly. Wish you had a more fulfilling social life. Act as if you're already a warm, charming person who attracts people and builds meaningful connections. One of my favorite examples of this mindset comes from the story of legendary actor James Dean. Despite his extraordinary talent and charisma early in his career, he was just another young, struggling actor going audition after audition without success. That is until one day he had a revelatory insight as he was heading into yet another tryout, mentally going over his usual routines and habits. He asked himself, if I was already a great, famous actor, how would I walk into this room? Dean then made the conscious choice to act accordingly from that moment on. He approached every audition carrying himself with total assurance and star power, as if he had already made it big. Well, that simple shift transformed everything for James Dean. Directors and producers were captivated by his commanding presence and confidence seemingly overnight. He went from being an unknown to the next big thing in Hollywood, all because he started acting as if his dream had already come true. This mindset is so powerful because when you spend your days feeling inadequate, insecure, and focused on what you lack, you simply don't have the energy or magnetism to create positive things in your life. As I often say, you cannot soar like an eagle when you're surrounded by turkeys pecking at you. On the other hand, when you start operating from the mental and emotional place of your goals already being realized, you elevate your vibration. You go from being a small person trying to convince the universe of your worth to being in alignment with the confidence, talents, and success you aspire. Opportunities start finding you instead of you chasing them. This is the strange paradox. We have to become the person we want to be. Before having what we want, we have to fully step into and own our idealized self first, and then the manifestation followed. So today I want to encourage all of you to take some time and really think about what you want to create in your life. What is the ultimate vision of health, wealth, career advancement, relationships, personal growth, the dream version of yourself that you aspire to? Get clear on every detail of that vision, then start immersing your thoughts, words, and actions in that identity. Each and every day, wake up in the morning and affirm today, I am acting as the person I want to be when doubts or old habits creep in. Often reset by asking, is that in alignment with who I'm becoming, make choices, take actions, and move through your day, embodying that elevated role. It may feel artificial at first, like you're play acting or wearing an unconvincing costume, but stick with it. Every spiritual teacher, neurologist, success philosopher throughout history agrees. You become what you consistently put out into the universe if you act as if you already have what you want. You will develop the beliefs, habits, vibration, and life to match. So who are you becoming today? Is it that magnetically confident, sought out after professional at the top of their field? Is it the radiant, energetic model of perfect health and fitness you visualize? Is it the loving partner in a passionate, fulfilling relationship? Whatever your greatest vision for yourself is, start being that person now. Don't wait for some distant point of attainment before allowing yourself to step into that character. Do it immediately. None of us have the luxury of putting our dreams on pause. While we wait for conditions to be perfect, life is now the only moment we're ever guaranteed. So why not spend that moment actualizing your highest self and working towards those goals with the confidence and energy of one who has already accomplished them, like attracts. Like the universe doesn't operate on fantasies or wishes, but on the resonance we put out through our thoughts, emotions, and state of being. So get busy resonating at the highest level possible. Be the success, be the health, be the wealth and happiness you wish for God's psychologist, Abraham Maslow. What one can be, one must be. We need to be true to our own nature, for this is the ultimate source of happiness. To today, choose to be true, the greatest version of your act, think, and live, as if you already have that beautiful mosaic of prosperity, joy, wellness, and fulfillment you've been picturing. It may feel like the greatest act of make-believe at first, but you commit to it long enough, and before you know it, you've transformed that fantasy into concrete reality. That is the power of this principle. That is what it means to act as if you already possess what you most want out of this life. It's not delusion. It's deliberately aligning yourself with the future you've decided to create. It's showing the universe what you're committed to becoming and encoding that mindset into every fiber of your being. Some may call faking it until you make it. But there's nothing fake about it. It's just being the person you know in your heart you're capable of. It's embodying your highest potential here and now, rather than existing in a constant state of striving and wanting. So embrace it, live it, breathe. At each moment, act as if you're already who you were put on this earth to be, because if you can master that, my friends, there is no dream too big, no vision you cannot achieve. You become unstoppable in the grandest way. You go from being a passenger waiting on life to the architect designing every beautiful detail and laying the foundations of the present moment. So step into that empowered identity now and start building something incredible. Act as if success, abundance, joy, and fulfillment are your natural states of being. And just watch how quickly the universe starts cooperating to make it. So that is the ultimate path of the dream achiever, the legacy creator, the soul who lives in total alignment with their highest purpose. Can you feel that potential welling up inside you today? Can you start giving it breath and shape through your thoughts, words, and movements? I know you can. I believe in you as that person, because you wouldn't be here today if some part of you didn't believe it too. Let's go out and make that belief our permanent reality. Let's spend our days embodying our greatest. That is how we not only achieve our goals, but transcend them and access a life of constant evolution and magnificence. We become an unstoppable upward spiral, outgrowing our dreams nearly as quickly as we create them. So no waiting for someday, no more doubts or limiting stories from this moment. You commit to being the person you were put on this planet to be. You act as if greatness is your birthright. You embody the champion within, and with that committed mindset fueling you, there is nothing you cannot manifest. Become a new world of peace, health, prosperity, and fulfillment awaits you when you start living as if it already belongs to you, because it does, my friends. It always, always has. Now go claim it once and for all. One of the most powerful aspects of embodying your idealized self is how it builds unshakable self-belief when you spend your days feeling small, inadequate, and focused on your limitations, you're essentially telling the universe, I don't have what it takes. That vibe of self-doubt becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, repelling the very opportunities and circumstances you desire. Flip the script and start moving through the world as if you're already operating at your highest level. Suddenly you're broadcasting an entirely different frequency, an energy of quiet confidence and expectation that good things are headed your way. You stop giving fear, scarcity, and negativity any power over you. You're too busy being the person who naturally attracts abundance. As the old saying goes, what the mind can conceive and believe the mind can achieve by act. As if you already embodied the qualities of who you want to be. You encode those qualities into your neurology until they become hardwired habits and mindsets your self-belief soars. Because you're no longer just dreaming about potential, you're experiencing it daily as your status quo. Does this mean you'll never again have moments of doubt or struggle? Of course not. We're all human, and personal growth is a lifelong journey of ebbs and flows, but embodying the idealized builds an unshakable core belief that you have what it takes to create the life you want. Whereas before, the doubts may have derailed you, now they're just temporary speed bumps on the road because your fundamental identity is rooted in self-assurance. When Jim Carrey was a struggling broke comedian, the 1980s, he famously wrote himself a $10 million check with the goal of manifesting that dream reality. More importantly, though, he started carrying himself as if he was already the incredibly successful comedy superstar he aimed to become. In his own words, I'd visualize things coming to me. It would just make me feel better. Visualization works in anything you believe. You can achieve Carrey so deeply inhabited that future actualized self through his mindset and behaviors that its manifestation into his outer reality became inevitable. Because that's the truth. You cannot consistently act as if you already had the success, confidence, talent, or qualities you aspire to without making it a physical reality. The two are inextricably linked. Another profound benefit of embodying the idealized you. You're no longer being held captive by your past limitations, failures, or negative self-talk. How often do we let our shortcomings and mistakes define our self-perception and then subconsciously put the brakes on our dreams? Because of course I can't start that business. Look at how I failed at my last job. What makes me think I can get in shape when I've tried and failed so many times before? I'm not the type of person who could ever attract an amazing romantic partner. Sound familiar? We've all fallen into that defeat mindset at some point, letting our past dictate our perceived possibilities. But when you reset your self-image and decide, today, I am the person I want to become, I release the past and all its limits. You free yourself to start with a blank slate. It doesn't matter what you previously thought you were capable of, because today you're a new person operating at a higher level. You're no longer constrained by your former circumstances or beliefs about yourself. Suddenly the lifetime goal that seemed impossible is well within reach, because the person you're choosing to be makes it inevitable by simply aligning your behaviors, self-perception, and memento moment choices. Your idealized self, you override all the old programming and stories that used to hold you back. It's a mental and energetic fresh start. I'd be remiss if I didn't remind you that embodying the idealized you isn't about arrogance or ego, but rather finding an unshakable belief in your own innate world worth and capabilities. Too often we let false humility, self-deprecation, and feelings of inadequacy become a cozy comfort zone that justifies playing small. We tell ourselves, I'm just being realistic about my limits, as a way to avoid ever testing the boundaries of our true potential. But mindset is what's unrealistic. It's selling yourself vastly short. True humility and confidence aren't opposing forces, but dance partners. The more rooted you become in recognizing your authentic greatness and embodying that dimension of self, the less you're attached to ego or pretense you can be. Humble, down to earth, and grounded, while still operating with supreme self-assurance. Unshakable self-belief and internal power, you guessed it, start acting. As if you're already possessed the calm, assured self-worth you've been seeking. It will retrain your psyche and gradually become hard-coded into your identity. Here's the paradox in action by deciding today that you're finally done with self. Sabotage, procrastination, and buying into your own bees. Stories of why you can't create the life you want you're already operating. Is that more empowered you simply making that committed choice and following through? Is you embodying greater self-belief? From there, keep leaning into that new way of being. Start your day by affirming, I move through this world as a person of boundless courage and worth incredible achievements. Come naturally to me, then find small ways to physically anchor those affirmations into reality. Walk with your head held high, make consistent progress on your goals, and act as if existing at your highest potential is second nature at first. You may still hear those old inner critics throwing shade and trying to drag you back into doubt. That's all the more reason to stay firmly rooted in your new identity. Keep affirming the truth of your power and taking actions to reinforce it. Starve those limiting beliefs by never giving the inner. Breathe. You know what happens when you do that day after day, week after week? Your unconscious mind starts to integrate this way of being as your new normal. Those affirmations stop feeling like suggestions and become hardwired patterns you can't overcome, but simply become imposter syndrome. It evaporates because you are no longer an imposter. You're actively embodying the highest frequencies of confidence, self-worth, and personal power. At that point, you may even find yourself looking back on your former limited self with bemusement. Can you believe I ever bought into that ridiculous story? That I wasn't deserving of greatness, the insecurities and self-sabotaging ways that once seemed unshakable now carry no weight or charge. They melt away completely when starved of your energy or belief. So if you've struggled with crippling doubt, negative self-talk, and that constant feeling of, I'm just not capable of big things, let today be your turning point. Decide right here. And now that you're finally letting go of those disempowering patterns for good, you're no longer accepting a self-perception that sells you monstrously short. Instead, from this day forward, you begin operating as the person who already has been built impeccable self-worth and confidence into their core identity. Every morning, wake up and inhabit the powerful new normal. Speak the affirmations, take the actions, and make the choices that are in alignment with you as your most actual I self. It may feel I enact at first. I won't lie, there will be moments those old voices try to lure you back into doubt. But with consistency and commitment, honoring this new way of being, it will very quickly solidify into a whole new level of demonstrating self-belief and self-assurance in everything you do. The beautiful cycle begins of your actions and identity reinforcing one another. The more you embody that supreme self-worth, the more evidence you start finding to validate through your rising accomplishments, connections, and personal growth, and that only breeds more belief in your limitless potential going forward before you know it. You've transcended that former restricted identity completely now, your daily experience, interactions with the world. And sense of self is operating from the highest vantage of anything is possible for me, because I have already claimed the reality of being powerful beyond measure. That is the ultimate gift of acting as if you already have what you want. You don't have to wait for the dream circumstances or achievements before Reco-Ging and embodying the radiant, unstoppable version of yourself. That creates those outer Su. You access the source energy. That generates those outward manifestations you desire, not through arrogance or feigned displays, but by grounding yourself in your truest, most authentic sense of unshackable self-worth and possibility. That's been inside you all along. Then letting that way of being propel you into an entirely new reality. So let today be the starting point for no longer selling yourself short on any level. Decide that you, the magnificent, limitless, divinely born, you are rewriting any former limiting script starting. Now you're upgrading your operating frequency through the choices, beliefs, and actions reflecting your highest human potential. Then simply honor that commitment moment to moment. affirm it, anchor it with action, and refuse to accept anything like less from yourself. Consistency creates the groove until being that actualized, empowered version of you is no longer something you have to act as if, but merely take your next breath from that new level of awareness. That's how true self-mastery and creation of dream life. Life begins, my friends, not through chasing the symbols or circumstances you think will make you confident, successful, or happy, but by being the source energy those things emanate from first. And you can activate that core frequency in yourself anytime simply by acting as if you already possess what you most want. So if there's any wisdom to take away here today, let it be this: you have permission to start living as the greatest version of yourself right now, not after another course, not when the timing is perfect, not once you've checked off a certain list of the time is now to let that idealized you finally breathe and take center stage in your life. There is a powerful, abundant, radically fulfilled version of you that is possible when you shed the limits and stories that were never true expressions of your potential anyway. You get to decide to start being that person immediately through the resonance you put out into the universe. Stop rehearsing being small, undeserving, or doubting yourself that programming has convinced you to settle for the limited, fear-driven experience for too long on today. You activate the truth that you are a limitless creator expressing the glory of this same creative force that birthed galaxies with your presence here. You get to stand in the fullness of what it means to be a consciously aware, infinite soul overflowing with talents, abundance, deserving in love, and the way you do that embody those qualities of your highest self with how you think, move through the world, and command. Your life forward act as if you already possess the most phenomenal versions of health, wealth, success, joy, and inner peace. You can imagine, live it, breathe it, anchor it into every cell of your being, because what we act as if we already are is simply what then becomes part of our immutable reality. You have that unstoppable power to write the script of your life. Brilliance every moment to no longer accept smallness and doubt, but to operationalize your true infinite potential by being it now. No more waiting for the dream to manifest before you claim that supreme state of empowered self-worth and abundance today. You choose to live from that resourceful, limitless frequency first. And from there are no goals too big, no transformations that can't be realized, because you're no longer approaching your desires from a place of conditions and limits, but from already vibrating at the level of your greatest achievements being inevitable. It's not that reality hasn't caught up yet. It's that you've tapped into the root creative energy shaping all of your realities moving forward. So today I simply invite you, come immerse yourself in that most authentic, expansive version of who you came here, to be release the old conditioned narratives, because they were never the truth of your essence in the first place. Step into inhabiting the mindset, emotions, and presence of the person who already walks as the radiant embodiment of health, wealth, fearless self, assurance, compassion, freedom, love, and creative power that you've dreamed of. That's not an identity to put on, but one to simply allow yourself to be, to give breath and form to the highest frequencies that are your birthright as a divine being of limitless potential. Having this human experience, so have that human experience rooted in owning every dimension of your magnificence. Allow yourself to think, choose, take action, and move in alignment with the incredibly blessed, talented, treasured soul. You already are at your core. Give yourself permission to stop accepting a life of smallness and limitation ever again. You are so much bigger and more extraordinary than those boxes could ever contain as you start existing more and more from that energetic place of empowered being that you've always embodied. The external world will have no choice but to reorganize itself in concert with your new vibration, opportunities, abundance, love, inspiration, all the virtues you've longed for will flow to you in ever-increasing measure, because you're essentially manifesting those realities by merely actualizing the truer self that's been waiting to be acknowledged. So no more pushing, driving, or relying on outside conditions before you grant yourself access to that supreme State of peace, confidence, and expressed actualization. Starting today, you are that fullest expression through how you choose to direct your focus actions and way of being. Just keep answering the call to rise up and embody your mightiest unstoppable self. Give it devoted and loving presence through each breath thought. Indeed, let that frequency become the new operating system for how you experience this entire existence, and watch with awe and gratitude as your external reality reorganizes itself to match the brilliance you've decided to beam forth. You were born to do this, my friends, to be this. All that's ever been required is your willingness to let that brightest light within you shine with reckless, devoted radiance here. And now, so why wait another moment to finally let your supreme essence be fully embodied, honored, and expressed through every fiber of your being? Step into acting as if you are the most phenomenal version of yourself you've dreamed of. From this day forward, live in perpetual alignment with that ideal self through your thoughts, actions, and presence. Give it air to breathe and root into your bones through sacred devotion, and witness the entire universe conspiring to exquisitely mirror back to you the glory of what's been inside you all along, just waiting to be acknowledged and realized. You hold that unstoppable creative power to be do and have anything your heart truly desires. So today, choose to be limitless, infinite, divinely actualized in every way, as if it's already your living truth. And you'll shine that brilliant light so brightly that the universe has no choice but to joyously reflect your highest dream back. Sure, you in this reality. Trust that you already possess everything required now. Decide to start fully and devotedly being that extraordinary self without hesitation or apology as you move forward, hand to the heaven's heart. Open wide your smile, radiating the unstoppable joy of the transcendent creator essence. You are. This is what you've been leading up to all along, my friends. The time has arrived to fully live and breathe as that great force of beauty and love you were destined to become. So step into that freedom with every ounce of your being and let yourself be the dazzling, limitless soul this world has been waiting for you to be.